Hey guys, what is going on? It is RC Knockout and I am back with another video. Now if you are new to my channel, my name is Nolan. In today's video I have got my Traxxas Summit running the huge RC 4-wheel drive Mudslinger tires. Now today is going to be the very first test of the steering Bellcrank I installed in the last video. So if you missed out on that video, I will go ahead, put a card up in the corner, so feel free to check it out. But I put in this aluminum steering Bellcrank from the brand GPM. This one was on the pricey side. It came in a little over 30 bucks. I will go ahead and leave it linked down below. I know they have it in blue anodized like this, and they also have it in red anodized. I went with the blue, thought it looked good with the Traxxas blue anodizing that's already on the truck. The goal today is to go test it. I'm actually at a park that has a lot of caves and a lot of rocks. So we're going to get down there onto the rocks and test this thing with the new steering Bellcrank. Now, the goal in today's video is to determine whether or not the steering is any better. Because for those of you who are not familiar with the Summit has treacherous steering. Like, the steering on the Summit is terrible. Whenever you're rock crawling or you're going slow, these tires will not turn. And this thing's driven by 2 servos. So you would think with 2 servos driving it, it would have plenty of power to turn these tires. But that's not the case. And actually, the problem does not stem from the servos at all. The problem actually stems from the servo saver spring being so weak. So I took out the whole stock Bellcrank and I put this in. I was going to do a mod to it so I could tighten the spring up even tighter. But the thing I noticed when I went to install this is just as it sits, it's probably at least 10 times stiffer of a spring compared to the stock spring. So I just left it, made sure there was some thread lock on the threads, cinched that spring down as much as I could. So we're going to have a lot better steering. I already know that, but how much better we will see. But let me go ahead, get a couple 4-cell packs installed, get a couple 2-cell packs installed. We're gonna hop out on the trail, test this thing on the rocks, definitely get in some of those situations where it's gonna wanna bind up and see if this Bellcrank is gonna be able to push its way through it, if we're actually gonna get steering. So I'll be right back with you guys while I get this machine all powered up. All right, we have made our way down. I'm just gonna go ahead, swap her into the first gear, get my diff locked up. And here we go. We already got plenty of rock right here. Yeah, we definitely have some squeaking coming from the transmission. I think we probably have some pretty crusty and rusty bearings. That's my own fault. The last time I ran this, I ran it in water. I did not tear down the whole machine afterwards. In hindsight, I probably should have. I just used WD-40 on as many of the bearings as I could get to. And as you can tell, it sounds like probably at least in the transmission, we have some bearings that are probably starting to get a little bit seized up. Hopefully they'll work themselves loose in this video. But you might hear a little bit of squeaking to begin with. Barely caught up. And tumbled it. Yeah, we're gonna work our way down that way. Remember to give this video a thumbs up, guys, if you do enjoy this type of content. Yeah, this place is beautiful. Love coming here. One of my favorite crawling spots to come to. Just ginormous caverns and caves here. Actually, the best in the entire state of Iowa. Iowa is definitely not known for caves, but this part of the state has quite a few. And this is by far the best park I've been to for caves. We could try a little bit on this rock, but this rock right here is super mossy. So traction could be limited. All right, let me hop in front of her. Yeah, steering is definitely improved. I can tell you that. It's definitely a lot better than it ever was. Here, let me get a different angle. Impressive. Yeah, like right there, I'm trying to steer full lock to the right. We're not going right. So there's definitely limitations, so I might still want to tighten up this servo saver, but it's definitely way better than it ever was. Come on, Mudslingers, you can do it. You're hung up a little bit. There we go. I want to go down through here. This is just a huge rock section. This right here is going to be a pretty big drop off. Didn't quite nail the landing there. Yeah, steering definitely better than it was. This is by far the best the steering's ever been, especially since running these Mudslingers. These Mudslingers, by the way, are super heavy. Each tire weighs 16 ounces. Then combine that with the Beadlock wheel. This is turning some pretty heavy tires, much heavier than stock tires. And so far, I'm impressed. It definitely still, I long for a little bit more though. I noticed my controller is blinking red. I think that might be probably just the battery's low on my controller, but it's still going, so we're not gonna worry about it. So like right now, I'm trying to steer full lock left, but my lockers are engaged, so I do have to realize that. So lockers unengaged, but then the issue is you can't get through anything with the lockers unengaged in the front. Like you'll just start spinning. So here's locker, front locker disengaged, rear locker locked. See, like even in a situation like that, you just, even though now I have pretty decent steering, that tire right there is just not gonna spin unless I lock her up. You really need the lockers. That one right there is so close to grabbing too. There we go. That's all it takes. One little grab, one of those nubs to grab. There's something so rewarding about crawling and getting up over an obstacle. That one's undercut. Will that passenger tire climb? Might. It might. Yes. That one's stuck underneath that rock. That's not a good spot to be in. We'll save her and try it again from this way. See, like the steering, like normally, like with the Summit, if I were steering in place like that without moving, it wouldn't steer the tires at all. So right there, that's actually not bad. That might seem kind of weak, but compared to what I'm used to running these tires, that amount of steering is actually not bad. You can see it is still flexing some though, so I'm longing for a little bit more. I might have to go back to the drawing board, you know, try to put some smaller spacers in. If you watched the last video, you know what I'm talking about. I want to put some smaller spacers in, tighten that spring down even tighter so there's as little give as possible. I just want there to be the tiniest amount of give, just in case I bump into a rock. I don't want to destroy the gears in my servo. This way. I'm used to doing like a 3 or 4 point turn in that situation. So just doing a 2 point turn like that, not bad. Will it climb? Come on, it's so close. Maybe bump it. And did it. A lot of these rocks, these smaller ones, are loose, so the tires are just kicking them out and there's just no traction. And like I said, the Mudslingers are not the greatest tire on rock. They're so thick, the carcass of the tire, that these treads, they just don't conform very well to rock, and you just see them spinning on top of the rock, and that's unfortunately the situation we're faced with. I'm not used to this good of steering on the Summit. It's a game changer. It makes the machine so much more enjoyable in big rock gardens like this. But I am just so surprised how much better it is with the diffs locked up, especially, still being able to steer. Like, that is good for a Summit. Highly recommend this GPM steering Bellcrank if you're looking to improve the steering on your Summit. Hung up a little bit. There we go. I love the Summit. This is literally one of my top, would it come in number 6 or number 5 favorite RCs? This one in particular. And so much more enjoyable now that I can actually crawl the thing. But I still think improvements can be made. So you might see that in a video coming, or maybe I'll just do it and just share it with you guys later. Ever so slightly cut up on that front skid. Come on. All right, not exactly where I wanted to go, but that works. I don't really want to go in the water after what happened last time going through the water. All the bearings getting seized. So gratifying when the tires actually catch and grab and are able to crawl themselves up stuff. I don't know, there's just something about that that's so cool. Those of you guys who crawl know exactly what I'm talking about. Now my something's spazzing out. Yeah, something's going on now with the transmitter or something, because I have no control now. We're getting like periodic steering, then we're losing it, but I think it's because these batteries are almost dead. I might have some extra ones in the Jeep, but I didn't want to do a super long test video. Just want to do a little bit of a test. Yeah, it just keeps on killing the power. We're losing signal or something because the battery's almost dead on my controller. So this will be a good place to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Later.